Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for coming. Um, I'm Karen Smith and Chelsea is with me, and we just want to give you some ideas and some suggestions for how to meal prep because many people think that it's hard, but it is really easy. It lets you be super quick during the week and helps you know that you're fueling your body well. Um, I personally was really stressed when, like before I started meal prepping. That's what got me started because I would come home from work to try to eat lunch and then have to hurry up and try to figure out what I wanted to eat in half an hour, what I could make, what I could eat, and then get back out the door again. It was super stressful. Same thing like for breakfast and dinners, even though like I was trying to cook for my family. I'm a stressful person to begin with, so this was just an added stress that I didn't need in my week. So I really discovered pretty quickly how easy it is to meal prep and how much less stressful it made my life. So I want to share with you what I've done, and hope that it helps you as well. So let's see here. So Chelsea is going to hop on and tell us some of the benefits of meal prepping.
Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits, and I can say the same as Karen did that, even when it came to our own family, mealtime was super stressful, and it took us a long time to get a plan in place. But now that we've done it, oh my gosh, it just like every day we know what we're eating, we know what to take out, we know what we've prepped. I'll tell you one little tip kind of in advance here is we do batch cooking. So we'll cook like a big meal at night and then I'll portion it out into containers for the kids' lunches for the week. Easy peasy. They warm it up at school and we're done. But the whole point of this is it's to help you to reduce decision fatigue because we make like what? Like, is it like, I don't even know, 40,000 decisions a day or something crazy. And so the less that we have to think about on the fly, the easier it makes it. So obviously less stress. It can also help you to support your health goals because when you know what you're eating and when, and you already have it, then it's going to reduce that desire to run to the pantry and stuff your face or to snack as you're making dinner because maybe it got on the stove a little bit late, right? And so overall, it's just going to help you to be more intentional about what you're eating, how you're eating, and honestly, it's going to reduce a lot of time that it takes you to, because people think, oh, let's just hit the drive-through, it's faster. Well, it's not. Right? Like we always think that, and it's not. And so overall, the benefits, I mean, we just have a few here, but there are so many benefits when it comes to meal prepping. And one thing that we want to share with you is that meal prepping can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be you planning every single meal out and cooking it ahead of time and warming it up. It can be very different. And Karen's going to launch into that. And she's going to share like what it looks like for her because she's been doing this for what, over a year now, I
Yeah.
think we talked about. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's going to be super helpful for you guys.
All right. So I want to show you some of my favorite things that I use when I am prepping meals. The first thing, um, you need oven-safe glass meal prep bowls with lids. So I got these square ones on Amazon and I really liked them, but I didn't pay a whole lot for them. And I figured that out quickly when the lids started to crack. So I don't put the lids in the oven, but I don't know, they're just like cheap plastic or something and they did not last. So I recently got these square, round circles, circular ones. And these lids are much better. But what I like about having whether you do the square or the circle, they're easily stackable. So you can, and these are good too because, you make it in here and then you put it in the oven and then you cool it, put the lid on, and you are good to go for the rest of the week. Um, I also recommend a food scale. Chelsea and I were talking about this the other day. A food scale is going to be much more accurate than measuring cups, for example. So, and it does make life, I think it makes life easier because you just, most of the recipes that I have actually call for like grams or ounces of food, not a cup of it. So, and these are really very cheap. I think this one was like $20 maybe. They're super, super cheap and very beneficial. Um, oh, I forgot to show you. I have these little ramekins. I like these as well. For the simple things like chia pudding or baked oats. They're the perfect size for that. And then, I like to eat that. That's ready if I want to have a snack or for breakfast. You have one of these things, you just put one of the different size cutters, I don't know what you call these, in there. And then, so if you want to chop peppers or something like that, this makes it super, super easy to do that, and it's fast as well. A knife and a cutting board, that's almost every kitchen has one of those. So I don't need to show you that, I don't think. And then the last thing that I like, and this is, like I said, I've tried a couple different things. I've found what works for me. I recommend getting some kind of a meal planner. This one has, every day down the side, and then it has a spot for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So I started with something like this. And then I moved to something more like this one, which has just one thing down the side. You can do breakfast, lunch, dinner on there if you want to, but it also has a grocery list, which I like. So that, while you're planning, you can be making your grocery list as well. So I wanted to show you how I like my weekly prep. So every Saturday, yesterday I did this, I sat down with this is my actual grocery list thing, and I planned what I was going to have for lunch and for all of the dinners. And then I chose a couple things that I can make for snacks. And then today went to the grocery store. And I haven't prepped anything yet because I usually do that in the evenings. But later on tonight, I will chop everything. I do like, just because for my job, I need to have something quick and ready at lunch. So I will make, what am I making today? The pita, chicken pita, something. And then I'm going to, then I'll be ready. That's it. Chop today, and then prep things, and then I'm good for the rest of the week. One thing I definitely learned early on, though, is to be flexible. So like for dinner tonight, I might have chicken on my menu, but I don't want to eat chicken. I'm not in the mood for chicken. So you can swap things around. Just because you make a menu doesn't mean that you have to stick to it. But what's beneficial is that it's on your menu. You can swap it. Like, you have all the ingredients, how easy it is. Another thing I like to do too is to go through my calendar. Like Tuesday, I know I'm going to be working until 5, so I'm going to have something quick and easy on that night. So this is a sample menu for what my week is going to look like this week. Like I said, it's easier for me. And my sister was just telling me today, I don't know, Chelsea, if you can tell me if this is accurate or not, but that your body actually likes when you eat the same thing a couple days in a row. I don't know. She said she read that it knows what to expect.
I don't know. I'd never heard that before, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to do some research on that before we do this again tomorrow. But I have the same thing every morning. I like my protein shake. I can add different fruits in there. I can add different vegetables. It's fast, it's easy, it's delicious. And then for lunch this week, like I said, I'm going to have the Greek pita bowl. I'm going to make that so that when I come home, I have half an hour. I'll just pop it in the oven, eat it, be done with that. And then dinner is going to look different every night this week because my family does not like to eat the same thing every night. So I have to, have something different for them. But one other thing I wanted to say too, I really like sheet pan recipes. They're so fast and easy. And you literally typically dump everything on a cookie sheet and bake it. Super easy and a lot less cleanup as well. So that's another recommendation that I have. So Chelsea's going to tell you a little bit more, if you don't want to do the same thing every day, how you can mix and match and build your meals.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say too, we do something very similar too, where we have the same thing for breakfast every single day, except for Saturdays and Sundays. But just having the meal, because it used to be like, with 5 kids, every night at 5, I was like, what am I gonna make? So like the first way we started to meal prep, or at least meal plan, was to make a plan. Because we never had a plan. It was just like, what do we have? What are we gonna make? Ah, and then it turned into frozen pizza all the time, right? We've all been
Mhm.
there. And so just having that time of like every month, I plan out our dinners. And like I said, I like to take the approach of batch cooking, whereas Karen likes to take the approach of like have everything the same. And cook them ahead of time or cook them right before she's eating them. And, so again, like be flexible, find what works for you, find what you enjoy, because it's not going to work for you if you don't enjoy it. And just like Karen, our dinners are variety as well. And then we'll just pack those up for lunches. And that's how that works well for us. But when it comes to building your meals, we always say, start with your protein and then build around it. Um, and it's really easy to batch cook your protein. So like if like Karen, Sunday is your day, you could cook a bunch of chicken up on the grill, or you could bake up, a bunch of shrimp or whatever it is, right? Like you can totally batch that. Now, for grains, I will say if you're doing rice, it's really only good for 1 to 2 days. And then, you either have to add more liquid to it when you're reheating it, or, yeah, I don't know how that is for you, Karen, but at least I found that it likes to dry out in the fridge. So, either be prepared to add some like chicken broth or something to your rice as you reheat it if you want to go more days than that. But 3 days I've found is usually my max on grains. And so you can cook those up, separate them out, let them cool completely if you're cooking them ahead of time, before you put them in the fridge, or they can reduce the temperature of the fridge and it can cause things to spoil or to expire sooner. Um, Very important that when you are cooking your proteins, you get them to the temperatures that they need. You can do a quick Google of like, what does chicken need to be? What does beef need to be? And make sure that you're following food safety guidelines, so that you're not cross-contaminating when you're like cutting meat. Don't cut your meat and your fruit on the same board. Those kinds of things. Make sure you're following those so that every step stays healthy. And then, once you've got your proteins and like, I love proteins because they have the fat and the protein, and then it's easy to add your carbs, whether that's fruits or that's grains or that's some kind of pasta or bread or noodles or whatever. Yeah, Alyssa says a meat thermometer was a great investment. Great investment to help you keep everything, so you don't get sick, right? Because you don't want to meal prep and get sick, obviously. And then just plan to be flexible, as Karen said, with this. There are times where I decided, hey, you know what, I really don't want to eat that again. So I'll eat something else that day, like, or a different day, and just swap them around. And that's totally okay. Make what you like, don't try new recipes and make a whole week's worth if you don't even know if you like it yet, right? Test things out in small amounts first, and if they're winners, put them in the rotation. And then plan to eat, every 2 to 3 hours, because you're building around protein, you'll find that you're not hungry as often. But in order to not get that crash, obviously, make sure that you're staying on track for eating and not going long amounts of time with that. And then give yourself grace with it, right? Like as you're trying something new, anything new, it's a new practice. It takes time. So give yourself grace as you're, trying out new recipes, as you're trying out systems that work for you, whether you do a batch cook system or you do an individual meals in the containers and cook them right in the container. Find what works for you and stick with that. Or maybe meal prepping for you is as simple as throwing all your sheet pan stuff in a baggie, and have those baggies in the fridge, and then you just toss them on the sheet pan. You've got them labeled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. And that's another way to meal prep. So find what works for you and stick with it. It's really about that consistency and reducing the stress in your life.
There we go. Um, So some of my favorite proteins, I love chicken. Shrimp is a go-to. Cottage cheese is a really good one also. But probably my favorite protein is the protein powder. Like I said, it's the quickest meal for me. I drink it every morning. Sometimes I even have it as a snack before bed. When my husband and I went to Germany this summer, we took a bag and, it was kind of like prepping while we were in Germany. Bag of protein and a shaker bottle, and it was perfect every day. And so my favorite protein though is the Life Shake, and it is my favorite because it is very healthy. You can use it as a meal replacement because it's very high quality. Like I said, it has leucine in it, which is gonna help your body support the muscle growth and burning fat at the same time. It has 24 vitamins and minerals in it. It's got 6 grams of fiber. I like that my husband is gluten-free, so it is gluten-free and dairy-free. It hits a lot of the really good nutrition and what do you want to like the allergens. So it's very safe. It also has like the fiber and the probiotics, so it helps with the gut health, prebiotics, I guess. And it's not just for shakes. You can also use it. I like to make protein balls. So when I'm prepping my snacks for the week, we'll make that often. I usually have to make a couple batches of those though, because they go in my house very fast. They're very popular. You can also add it. Like I said, one of my favorite proteins is cottage cheese. You can blend that up. I don't know if anybody has tried that at all. Add some protein powder in there, throw it in the refrigerator, freezer. It's almost like ice cream. Super good. Um, Another thing that's on here is the collagen 9. You can also use that. That's 10 grams of protein. I don't know if I said the protein powder, the Life Shake is 20 grams per serving. Collagen is 10. And you can make delicious protein brownies with that, satisfy your sweet tooth there a little bit as well. You can add it to other things. Um, and bars. So this is another one of my go-tos. These are meal bars. This is another meal replacement. So on those days when I don't have time to stop for lunch, I'm in the car, I'll eat a bar. Um, and again, I know that it's clean and it's got great ingredients and it's going to keep me full until I can get home for a snack or dinner. Chelsea, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna share like that's how I got started too. I didn't start planning out every single meal that I was gonna have. I started with one meal a day. And so like that became our shake using the Life Shake. That's worked great for my kids because we have really early mornings with getting on, I mean, they get on the bus by 6:58, so they all have their shake. If they want to add something else to it, that's fine. Like one of my kids really loves bagels, so she has her bagel and she has her shake, right? But it's been an easy meal replacement for us, and we can like fancy it up or we can just straight up with liquid. 60 seconds, you don't have to think about it. And, and then we expanded from there into other meals, right? Then we started making a plan for our dinners. And once we got that down, then we're like, okay, how about like lunches? How do we make sure our lunches are, also good, and then expanding to snacks. But having all those easy options just makes life so much more simple. I love the bars too. My oldest, she's in track, and there's very little time between school, turn around and get to the track. So something she can have on the go. She loves the snack bars. They've got protein and carbs, and that's what she needs. So just understanding that like it doesn't have to be complicated. Keep it as simple as possible and start where's the biggest frustration in your meal during the day. Start there and then expand, as you've got that area consistent, and make it work for you. Yeah, I love Alyssa said Sunday nights meals are smoothie Sundays where they can add any frozen fruit they want and she doesn't have to cook. I love it because I remember when Zach used to be gone, we would eat cereal all the time and then everyone's hungry in 5 minutes, right? And so then we started doing the same. It's like, well, when I don't want to cook and everyone wants to eat, we just do another shake because it's easy. I know it's good for my kids, and less dishes for sure.
Okay,
Awesome.
so that is all we have for you. I just wanted to give you some reminders. Like meal prep is less stress and better healthy eating, better meals. Like Chelsea said, start slow, just choose one thing. And then if you like it, keep going and add a lunch. If you don't, then, just play around with it. Even, different kinds of recipes. I like the bowls because they're easy. I never thought about putting the sheet pan stuff in a bag and putting it in the freezer. I'm going to start doing that now. That's brilliant. Um, and bottom line is just give yourself some grace because like Chelsea said in the beginning, I've been doing this for about a year now, and I still am tweaking things to try to figure out exactly what it is that works for me. Um, we do have an offer for you if you are interested in trying some of the protein. Um, you can get one. We have one big 28-ounce serving size Life Shake or two of the smaller 14 serving sizes. Then you can get to try two different flavors. But with any of those purchases, we will send you some free meal prep recipes. And if you have any questions, I'm gonna stop the recording here and then we can talk about some questions or, reach out to whoever sent you here and if they can answer your questions as well.